On Monday, we looked into what legal protections our emails have, but the David Petraeus scandal also raises the question, how safe are our emails from a technical standpoint? How can they be hacked into, either with legal approval or without it? So earlier, I had investigative reporter Bob O'Hara drop by my desk and asked him, what did Petraeus do wrong?
I view this as a very teachable moment for people. People need to understand data is forever. So the first thing that he did is he wrote emails that we know by definition he did not want people to see.
We've all written emails we didn't want people to see, though. There's no way to do that and make sure people won't see it?
The only way to protect email from everybody's eyes except the recipient is through encryption.
So he was using Gmail, I use Gmail. Is Gmail encrypted at all?
Not in the way that you need it to be encrypted. And when it's in the Google system, it's just sitting there.
So one thing he did is I hadn't heard about this, it seems genius but it didn't work. He would write a draft,
right,
and then he would type, "Hi Paula," and then she would log into the same account. They would never send the email, and they would write back in these unsent drafts. Now,
right.
Why didn't that work?
We've all heard in the intelligence community of sources and methods. Well, this is a method the terrorists use to avoid scrutiny and to avoid having the data go from place to place. But it's a well-known trick. And the fact is, the data still sits somewhere. And how do we know that? The FBI found it. It's already there. It's there off of his computer, and it's there off of her computer. Where was it? It was at Google. So the data is already outside their control.
So how did it get from Google to the FBI?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. Presumably, when they signed on to her account, they checked everything because they know this method of trying to obscure the trail.
So presumably, once the FBI has permission, Google says, okay, go into the account, and then they can read whatever's there.
Or they simply use her password and go in and just look at it.
How would they get the password?
Well, they would have gotten the password from her or from some other method that maybe it's just sitting on her computer. Many people, by the way, keep their passwords on stickums around there, which is not a very good effective method.
No, that is not. If you're the director of the CIA and you have a post-it note with your password,
right,
maybe it's not the job for you.
Honey Bunch or something like that. But the safest worldview on this stuff is that that systems are vulnerable, that anything that's put into writing has a likelihood of coming out. It raises really serious questions at the Central Intelligence Agency director. The guy that's on the front lines of our national security is operating this way with something that's such a well-known vulnerability.
Maybe it's the same delusion that lets you think you can have an affair without getting caught that makes you think you can write about your affair and not get caught.
I think it's very much bound up with that. It won't happen to me. People say that. It won't happen to me. I don't have to worry about it. And my view of it is, without being paranoid, factor in the idea that it will happen to you and then behave accordingly. Writing things in email and thinking that no one's going to read is really foolish.